violently streaming. Hands, rockets, red glare, the bombs bursting in air, they prove through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free? Home of the
Thank you, Marcial. So it won't be too long before the Ravens team gets here, but we have a lot to cover before we do that to get you set for San Francisco. And I want to look back on some of the magical moments that have unfolded this season. And as I do that, I want to introduce my broadcast partners. Longtime NFL great linebacker Stan White. And a man who has a ring that the 2012 Ravens want to get theirs, a member of the 2000 Super Bowl Ravens, Hugh. It's fitting that this Super Bowl, guys, is in New Orleans, because we know this is Ray Lewis's second Super Bowl, but it's Ed Reed's first Super Bowl. Born just 17 miles from the Superdome, Ed Reed is going home to play for the Vince Lombardi Trophy. Q, what do you think that means to Ed Reed?
You talk about special players, special moments. This has been definitely a special season. I'm sure number 20 is going to be going down there. Understanding this, while you're going home, it's about a business trip. It's about finishing, because at the end of it all, you want to be the team that hoists up that Lombardi and bring it back to Baltimore.
Another native of New Orleans is Ravens kick returner and wide receiver Jacoby Jones. Talk about excitement. The only Raven ever to have a kick return and a punt return in the same season. Anybody remember the Pittsburgh game when his punt return helped beat the Steelers? Stan, Jacoby Jones grew up in the 9th Ward in New Orleans, and he has a tattoo of the city of New Orleans on his back because he said after Katrina, he wanted to carry that city. Well, I would say this week, he wants to carry this city back to his hometown.
No doubt about that. And we wouldn't be here except for Jacoby Jones. Anybody remember the pass he caught in Denver? Woohoo! We've heard Jerry's call on that about 1 million times since, and I love to hear it every time. It's such a great call, such a great play, and it's just emblematic of what these Ravens have been all year. They were down, they battled back, they never gave up, and now they're going to New Orleans.
And the Ravens will play on the world stage. We're used to a sellout crowd at M&T Bank Stadium, but this coming week, the Ravens literally play in front of the world. The entire world will see our Ravens, and they'll get to understand why Baltimore is the greatest sports town in America. Baltimore is so great is because of you. Give yourself, Ravens Nation, a big One of the things that made this season so special, nobody believed in our Ravens. Nobody believed. Remember the bye week? All the national media, they wrote off the Ravens for dead. They said they wouldn't make it to the playoffs. They didn't know our Ravens, did they? When the Ravens made the playoffs, I heard the phrase one and done an awful lot outside of Baltimore. they didn't know about Ray Lewis coming back, did they? And as soon as Ray Lewis came back, everything changed, didn't it? For 17 years, Ray Lewis has been the face, the heart, and the soul of this franchise. We know he will play his final NFL game in the biggest game of the season, Super Bowl 47. Ray Lewis, you'll hear from him a little later, said one of the things that mattered the most to him in his career was playing his entire career in Baltimore as a Raven. Few, not many guys get to do that.
Special player again. We're talking about number 52, the legend that is Ray Lewis. What I love about him is his dedication to prepare himself to be successful. I think that really separates him from all other players. You talk about in the beginning of your career how he's played with a tremendous amount of athleticism, but towards the later stages of his career, it's his ability to see where the play is going to be before it even happens. That's what set him apart, and that's why number 52. You talk about inspiring his guys. It's not about the rah-rah speeches, but it's about him looking at you in your heart and looking at you and saying, look, we can go out there and accomplish this task. That's why they beat Indy. That's why they beat Denver. And that's why they went up to New England and took it from them as well. And that's why they're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, what sets apart Ray Lewis to me, Q, is he did it for 17 years. That's unbelievable in today's game to do that. I've always said Dick Butkus and Ray Lewis are the two greatest linebackers ever, but Ray Lewis did it for 17 years. He is the greatest linebacker that ever played the game, and he's with another Vince Lombardi trophy. Amen.
So for as long as the Ravens have been in Baltimore, Ray Lewis has been in the lineup. But the reason the Ravens are in Baltimore is the man whose life we celebrated at the very beginning of this season, Art Modell. And as we head to New Orleans, we go not just to win a Super Bowl, we go to see that Art Modell takes his justified place in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That vote comes out the day before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, let's hopefully have two of them. Jonathan Ogden, who along with Ray Lewis were the first two draft choices of this franchise. Also, he should be a shoo-in. There should be no question Jonathan Ogden, the greatest tackle to ever play the game, will he go in too.
One of the things that separates the Ravens from so many other teams is the passion of the fans and the passion on the field, on the sidelines. How about a Ravens round of applause for the Baltimore Ravens cheerleaders? And for those of us who are two-generation football fans in this town, if your heart started with the Colts and carried over to the Ravens, there's one link to both generations, and that is the Baltimore Ravens Marching Band. They kept the spirit of football alive in this town when everybody had forgotten about us, but they won't forget about us now. Right now I want to introduce a couple of Raven alumni, guys who won the Super Bowl back in 2000. Teammates of Qadry Ismail, the man who told us what it was like to be clutch. His teammates called him Money Matt. How about a Ravens round of applause?
Matt, this team is going down to the Super Bowl yet again. In 2000, as we went down, tell us something about that trip that made it special for you.
Well, thinking that I've been in the league for 11 years prior to ever getting to a Super Bowl and being able to get there, it was huge. And for the kicker to have a little bit to do with that season, it was kind of fun too, to say the least, huh? So it was a great memory. My two teammates here, Qadry, we were a bond of brothers, man. We had a tremendous bond, just like this team does right now. And we trusted one another, and I know that's why we're going to come away with a victory on Sunday with the Baltimore Ravens.
So, we called you Money Matt Stover. We understood that the kicker was a very valuable commodity in 2000. Since our offense, we kind of went through a little bit of an up and down, a little bit, not much. But this year, they have a kicker in Justin, I've called him Dr. Pepper Tucker. From one kicker to another, what did you think about his performance as far as just being clutch this season as a rookie?
Well, looking at the season, guys, he won 4 games for the Baltimore Ravens. Without his toe, they don't go. Right? So, this guy is going to have an impact on Sunday. He is phenomenal. Not only did he win the games, his kickoffs, his tackles every once in a while. The guy's actually an athlete, huh? I wasn't an athlete. Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah. But I'm so excited to see him kick the way he's been kicking for them, and especially that kick against the Denver Broncos. Was that not huge? So keep your prayers. Remember, I always point it out. Keep praying for that boy too. All right, thank you.
Matt Stover, everybody.
When our next guest came to Baltimore, he was considered a pass rush specialist, a star on the West Coast. But in order to help the Ravens become a Super Bowl team, he had to give up his individual stats and goals and become what the Ravens have stood for since, a true team. A Pro Bowler, a Baltimore star, a Super Bowl alumni. Say hello to Michael McCrary.
And also a Ravens Ring of Honor inductee, Michael McCrary. When my son was playing, I had him watch films of one guy to see how to play the game of football. I've said this many times. It was Michael McCrary. He never stopped. You talk about the definition of a motor, it was Michael McCrary, because he played harder than anybody I ever saw play the game. And Michael, you look back 12 years ago today was the Super Bowl, the championship. Today, 12 years ago, and I'm sure you have fond memories from that night.
Oh, incredible memories. And, everybody coming together, playing with that passion and desire. That's one thing that amazes me. When we went down to Tampa, the Giants were actually favored in that game, and similar to the 49ers are favored in that game. The one thing that the media didn't realize, if they took the time to look at Baltimore's media and look at the team, they'll realize that the Ravens have more heart than any team out there. They are not looking at the heart. That's why San Francisco is going to get surprised, just like Giants got surprised, because they have no idea.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Jerry, Q, and I have been talking on this whole trip how similar this is to 12 years ago. You play a playoff game at home and you win it. You go in a short week, 6 days, to play the #1 seed on the road,
And you win.
Then you travel to a team that has a big advantage over you. It was Oakland. In the hole out there.
The black hole of the Raiders.
And then it's New England.
Got painted purple.
that we consider the new hole because of last year, yes. And you go and win. And now you get to go down, get the off week and go down. Tell us what you think is going to happen when they go down. Tell us about this team. What do you think about, because this defense has come together. Your year, the defense was pretty good all year. But this time, the defense really has come together for the playoffs.
And they have really come together. You can see that just in their play. I mean, you go out to Denver, that's when I was just amazed at, because of everything they had to go against. You got John Elway, you got the temperatures, you got the altitude, and for those guys to come through and keep fighting and keep fighting and keep fighting, wow, I was really proud to be a Raven that game. And I'm telling you, this team, they've got so many weapons, but the key is the passion and the desire to win and to play as a team. And that's why I love watching the Ravens, because they have more passion than any team in the league. Ozzy's done an incredible job of bringing all these type of players together. I mean, it's similar to our team. I'm just looking forward to watching them going down and making Baltimore proud.
Okay, one final question. You played with Ray Lewis. You saw his leadership ability. You also know what toll this game can take on your body. First of all, isn't it amazing he's played this long? And talk about him and his leadership qualities.
Wow, Ray is, that energy just radiates throughout the whole team. You're infected by it. This guy just looks at you, he doesn't even have to say anything. Just looking at you, you know what to do. He gives you that little head nod, like, come on, it's time to get this thing done. Let's make it happen. That's it. And this, he says it without even saying anything, just looking at you. So the guy he's amazing. I was just blessed to be a part of a team and having him involved, and we're just proud as being the retired Ravens. We're proud that Ray has carried that tradition, that enthusiasm, that passion. He's carried throughout the Ravens and kept this thing going to where they are today, going back to the Super Bowl.
All right, Michael, thanks a lot. Michael McCrary, Ring of Honor, one of the great Ravens of all.